what is going on with our superhero movies. Hey everybody, I'm Sean, and as you know, I have been living this life as a professional superhero movie fan for nearly a decade. I want to know what you think. I have started this video as a discussion so that you can leave your comments below and tell me what you think of the movies that have come out this year and how we went from Avengers Endgame being on such a high and that now being where the whole thing crested, and this whole, not just Marvel, but the whole genre of superhero movies seems to have just gone kaboom and crashed into the hard sands of reality. Let's take a quick rundown of the movies this year. Okay, so Ant-Man, Quantumania, they're going to go to the quantum realm. It sounded cool. Sounded like it's going to be a lot of stuff we've never seen before. Sounded like we're going to maybe get some hints at the Fantastic Four, that maybe they're hidden down there, and that's where we're going to bring them back before we go to the 60s with them in their movie. But then we saw the Ant-Man movie, and it was just, I called it people standing around on green screen sets, the movie. That's what it looked like to me. I couldn't see all the fanciful graphics. It literally just looked like people standing on a green screen set. I was more excited for Creed 3. Shazam 2. I loved the first Shazam movie. I thought that the first Shazam movie got so screwed over because they put it out in April. If you remember, they put it out 2 weeks before Avengers Endgame came out. And I felt like if they would have saved it, especially because so much of the movie took place in the winter at Christmas time. The big finale at the Christmas market. If they would have put that movie out because there's always that one movie that comes out in August. It's like the last blockbuster of the summer, and it comes out in August, and a lot of times it'll do well there, right? Why wasn't Shazam that August blockbuster that year? Why did they put that out right in front of Avengers Endgame? But anyways, we're not here to talk about that. We're talking about the sequel. So for Shazam 2, at least that one, they seemed like they were trying. The problem with Ant-Man and the Marvel movies is they just seem like they are taking the audience for granted, and only now is the audience starting to go, you know what, forget it. Shazam 2, I at least give them the benefit of the doubt that they tried. That stupid Skittles, full-on Skittles commercial in the middle of the movie. I was just like, I'm out, bro. Forget it. The biggest problem with Shazam is why I think actually Shazam would probably make a better streaming show than a movie concept, because the whole thing relies on the dichotomy of Billy Batson being a small kid and he says Shazam and turns into a man. But between the first movie and the second movie, there's so much time in between movies that the kids have all grown up. And now the whole thing is just the kids kind of adjusting to the expectations of adult life. So they turn into the superheroes, and what? Now they're just adults who are older. The whole concept falls apart after one movie, which is a drag, because if they would have done it as a TV show, then maybe you get 2 or 3 seasons of a show before these kids get too old. You know what I'm saying? It would have been a lot more satisfying that way. I still think they could bring that back. See, the wild thing is that for me, 2023, my most anticipated movie of the year was the Super Mario Brothers movie. Me, this guy who's, like I said, been living as a professional superhero movie fan. It's been my job for years. It used to be that I'd leave one of these movies and just be like, ideas. We'd have a big crew, and it's all we would talk about for the whole rest of the evening and into the next day and for days to come. And we'd start writing our parody scripts because we just lived it and loved it so much. We're so passionate about it. And now I just couldn't bring myself to care enough to make the parody video. And now just going to these movies is a chore. I didn't even bother going to the Eternals. Still haven't seen it. Didn't even bother going to Wakanda Forever. Still haven't seen it. Right? And if you think I'm going to the Marvels this year, you're out of your mind. Then we got into Guardians of the Galaxy 3. Was at least fun, but it felt like it missed its moment. It just felt a few years too late. All the actors are looking a little older. There's just more of a tired feel to it. It just felt like the energy. It felt like making some of my parody videos towards the end, where there was this feeling of, oh, okay, we're going to rally and we're going to do it and it's going to be great. And right? It didn't have the energy. It didn't have the spark. And as good as that movie was, it was a few years too late. And that hurt it, I think, artistically. It seemed to do well box office wise. Artistically, I think that hurt it. Not a superhero movie, but Little Mermaid comes out. I've been talking a lot to people about Disney, and I say that Disney is not an entertainment company. Disney is a bank, and they manage assets. That's what they do. And so if you look at it from the 90s to now, right, Bob Iger gets so much credit for being this great CEO and Disney's resurgence and all that kind of stuff. But if you look at it, all he's been able to do is go out and find other people who are doing cool stuff, buy their company, bring them into the fold, and then squeeze the life out of them. From Pixar to Marvel to Star Wars to Disney Animation, on every, like, is there a single department of Disney that's putting movies, I was gonna say put movies in theater, but some of them ain't even doing that anymore. But is there any branch of Disney that's making mainstream mass audience entertainment that's doing well anymore? I don't think there is. Every single thing they put out is trash. And it's a shame because I'm been such a huge Disney fan. I love what Walt stood for and the creativity that he represents. I've been to Disney World like so many times. There was a time when it's like I used to say to my wife how like I want that to be a big part of our family's culture, is to be going to Disney World every year or twice a year, this kind of thing. And now I just like don't even, almost feel like I have to put the brakes on that just to like express what I can, how I can, you know what I mean? And Spider-Verse came out, but it's its own thing. I don't feel like that counts the same way as some of these other movies we're talking about. Sony seems to have avoided whatever's the contagion that's infected everybody else is making these theatrical superhero movies these days. Then we come to The Flash, and I almost feel bad for the people involved in that one because they've just got the wrong end of every stick that was pointed at them. From the lead actor turning out to be what he turned out to be, to the movie was conceived as part of the Snyderverse thing, but then that's been flipped and thrown around and folded in half and broken a bunch of different ways from then to now. And then adding in new movies, taking out other movies, having to rejig stuff because that movie's not happening anymore, and just blah, 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 blah. And now they got to tie it in to set up Aquaman 2 and be the conclusion of a universe that isn't happening anymore. Andy Muschietti's a cool guy. I met him when they came to town to promote the movie here in Toronto. Cool guy. Would love to have a beer with him. But yeah, I feel bad for him for just like, he's got talent, and that movie, like there's a good movie like in there somewhere, but just with so much piles of crap on top of it, none of it his fault. All the blame lays squarely at the feet of the powers that be at Warner Brothers, because they just like can't keep their head on straight for 2 seconds to get a movie made. Like the way the leadership shuffles have been happening again and again and again. There's like nobody in charge. It's like that Flash movie has been lingering across what, 3-4 administrations in that company. I don't know. Suffice it to say that movie wasn't it. Barbie was kind of in our genre, but I feel like, hot take, controversial opinion, the success of Barbie is as a fashion event, not a movie event. That's my take on it. And as I record this, it's opening weekend for Blue Beetle, and I literally could not care any less. I will probably never see that movie. And then what do we got coming up for the whole rest of the year now? Kraven the Hunter's coming up, and some people saw the trailer and think it looks cool. That thing with the lion blood dripping, that looks so hokey and stupid. You can have it. The Marvels, I'm more excited for Napoleon, to be honest. And then Aquaman. Aquaman's an interesting one because I felt like the first Aquaman doing $1 billion box office had absolutely nothing to do with the movie on its own merits. I think it just was the luck of the timing that it came out when it did, that superhero movies were just like so on a roll, and we were still like hadn't yet become totally disenfranchised with what DC was doing, so it caught a wave. Also, Warner Brothers, it's kind of like when a baseball team just spends whatever money they got to spend to buy a whole team of all-star players so that they can win a championship. That's what it felt like Aquaman was, that they just like spent so much money on the marketing of that movie that they were going to manufacture a hit one way or the other. Now, Aquaman 2 is coming out. I haven't seen or heard, none of us have heard anything about it. It's supposed to be coming out in what? September, October, November, 4 months-ish. We don't have any trailer, not even a teaser, no word about it. Is it even coming out this year anymore with the strikes and everything? Who knows? But it is just not looking good. I will always have love for superhero movies. I will always be waiting for the good ones to come out. But I almost feel like I'm even more of a real fan than the dopes who put on a costume and yay about every freaking movie that comes out. Like, you might look at them and think that they're the diehards, but I feel like I'm more of a fan because I hold it up I maintain an expectation of quality, and I refuse to let the producers and the movie studios get away with shenanigans and give us crap product. Stop taking the audience for granted. Start giving us good movies. And if that means resetting the MCU so that we can have a new Captain America, a new Iron Man, I don't know what the answer is there. I just feel like they need to just like stop. Here's the thing. I've said for years that like whatever happens with superhero movies, there's always going to be a Batman movie and a Spider-Man movie either in the middle of getting made or in the middle of getting released and marketed. And that's just the way of things going forward forever now. But aside from those two characters, I just think you got to just like put it away for a while, let it rest. Like with Batman, right? Like Arnold Schwarzenegger and George Clooney came in and kind of killed the Batman franchise for a few years. And then when Batman Begins came out, that shit was so revolutionary and new. And it basically like, if there was no Batman Begins, there'd be no Marvel Cinematic Universe. Iron Man was very much Batman Begins for a Marvel character in flavor, in the feel of it, everything, right? So that's it. Put it away for a while. Let people miss it. You got to go away to come back, right? And I don't know how these companies are going to think that maybe I just don't know what I'm talking about. Maybe I'm just a layperson and I'm shooting my mouth off, but how these movie studios can keep spending $250-300 million making a movie that does nothing when it comes out and is as forgotten as quickly as it's released. I don't know how that's sustainable. Maybe it is. Maybe I don't know what I'm talking about. That's possible. But all of this is a big part of me just kind of snapping out of a trance. And that's the big part of it for me is I feel like I was going to say that I was in a trance, but that's not entirely right. For me, it's more that when I started doing the viral superhero videos and they were doing really well, it gave me a chance to like regress. And I was able to like relive a certain part of my childhood almost. In that I could indulge this childhood fantasy interest of these superhero movies that I loved so much as a kid. And now I could go into that passion, live in that passion, be a professional and earn a wonderful living, make a lot of money, become a YouTube millionaire off of that passion. And it was a wonderful time. But I want to know what you think. Have you been keeping up with all the superhero movies since Avengers Endgame in the Marvel and DC space? Let me know. Let me know what you think about the movies. Let me know what you think about this channel. If you missed the parody videos, if you're excited to see something new, just where you're at with all of this. I want to know. I want us to connect. I want to know what's going down with you. So leave a comment below. If you like what I do, please hit super thanks to send a contribution. Hit join, become a channel member to get exclusive content. I'll send you freebies in the mail. It's a lot of fun. Check out my website, buy some merch over there. And watch for my movies. I don't want to say too much, but that's a clue. Watch for my movies coming real soon. And we'll be talking. Thanks for watching.